Okay, I'm going to send your head for a bit of a spin, but hopefully with a little bit of practice, all of this will make complete sense. So we've already seen this cascading effect, and we're interrupting properties with new color properties. That was the simple example that I gave you earlier. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to my code. I'm going to go all the way back out to layout.css, the furthest point from my paragraph element. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and throw in another property into my redefined paragraph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say font-size, :space, maybe I'll go 15 point. Save this up, head back to the browser, refresh, and now what happens is I get orange text on the first paragraph, I get green text on the second and third and fourth paragraphs, the subsequent paragraphs, but I also get the font size changing as well. What is going on here? Well, here's the deal. In the world of print design, whether you're working with InDesign or Quark Express or some other page layout application, if you've ever worked with styles in those applications, what happens is if we have a style conflict, if we have two paragraphs, for instance, or two body text styles created, one of them completely overwrites the other. That's just how it works. Well, in the world of CSS, it's much more complex. What we wind up with as a final result, rendering inside the browser for us, is a combination of all the different versions of our paragraph, if that makes sense. So why am I getting orange here on the first paragraph and also 15 point? Well, the orange instruction is coming all the way from the inline formatting right there. But the size instruction, which is being declared all the way out in layout.css, is cascading itself all the way through layout.css into styles.css, and then finally cascading all the way through index.html and all the way down into the paragraphs themselves. Okay, that's how that works. So in other words, there is no conflict in terms of the font size property. So that property is allowed to cascade all the way through down into the HTML file. Again, think of a waterfall, right? However, is there a conflict with color? You betcha. There's a conflict at the styles level. There's a conflict inside index.html in the internal style sheet. And then there's another conflict happening inside the inline formatting as well. So the final result that we're seeing inside the browser is a combination of the inline formatting that's coming from within the HTML page and also the font size, which is coming from all the way out in layout.css. So the properties are combining together. That's how it works. Okay? Again, if I've sent your head for a spin, you might want to practice it a little bit. You might want to fiddle around. Here's something else. I'm going to come back into, let's say, styles.css, and I'm going to go and look for my redefined paragraph. I'm going to go font weight bold. So I'm going to save this up. Now let me ask you this. What am I going to wind up getting inside this first paragraph? What I should get, if I've coded this correctly, is I should get orange, 15 point, and bold. I'm going to refresh. There we are. There's my bold text. So let's see. I'm going to go all the way back out here. The font size is coming from layout.css. The font weight is coming from styles.css right there. And then the color is coming from the inline formatting right there. Okay. But if I come along and throw in an interrupt or a conflict, if I go color orange, font-weight, :space normal, save this up, back over to the browser, refresh. Now the bold is removed. Why is the bold removed? Because I interrupted that property and I interrupted it closer to the paragraph. If I were to do something like this, I'm going to get rid of this here. So I'm removing it from the inline formatting. Go back to my browser and refresh. There's the bold text. If I try and remove the bold from further away, layout.css, it's not going to get removed. If I go font-weight, :space normal, and save that up and refresh, I still get bold text. How come? Because this normal is getting overridden by the bold that I've declared inside styles.css. Styles.css is physically closer than layout.css. So the cascading effect of CSS, that's what's determining the final result, what actually gets rendered inside our browser. I definitely encourage you to experiment with it and play around with it.